welcome to this episode of Hank's Corner. I'm Hank Jr. I'm here with a very special guest today, Danielle Johnson. Danielle, how are you doing tonight?
I'm great. How are you? Thank you so much
Oh,
for having me on your show.
oh, you're welcome, and I'm doing awesome as always. So, where are you calling in from today?
I'm actually calling in from North Carolina, usually in Nashville, Tennessee, but I go to school at Belmont University School of Music, so I'm home for winter break. So I'm enjoying my time here.
Okay, and I was going to ask, how are you enjoying the Christmas vacation there at home?
I love it. North Carolina always has a special place in my heart. I'm from Warsaw, which is a very
Okay.
small town, but North Carolina is beautiful and it's home for me for sure. But it is nice to see everyone and see my friends that I haven't seen in a while and family. So I love it.
Oh, you got to enjoy that. So, how long is your break?
It's only for about 3 weeks, so we go back
Oh,
January 5th, so it's coming up, but
right back to the grind, huh?
back to it, but I love it.
So, you mentioned you're a student there at Belmont. What year are you in?
So I'm a sophomore, I have 1 more semester left of my sophomore year, and I'm a commercial voice major, in the School of Music, so I absolutely love the people, I adore the major, the people there are just so amazing, and it's such a fun major to be in because I sing every day, I'm classically trained, and I also take piano and all of the theory classes, so well-rounded for sure.
Okay. And I heard that once you start, getting into a couple of years there at the school, you start to build a network of people that you hang around with. Is that true for you?
Absolutely. The people there are amazing, and it's like a family, so much like a family. Even Music Row is I love 'em I love Music Row because I've been to Nashville about I started coming to Nashville when I was 15, so in 2015, and everyone there is so welcoming and so lovely, and the same applies to Belmont.
So I guess the first time that whether it's Belmont or Nashville that you got there, you got that bug right away and you're like, this is for me, right?
Absolutely. I love Nashville. I love the city. I love the people. When I came in 2015, I started writing when I was 15. And I immediately was like, this is amazing. This is where I want to be. So we eventually got a place there. And we've had our place there for about 3 to 4 years now. So it's been a whirlwind. That's crazy.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. So tell me about the journey that from a little kid to making that decision to pursue music and ultimately go to college there.
So I started singing when I was 8 years old. My music teacher at school actually said, "I don't know if you guys know this," to my parents, but your daughter has a God-given talent. And they were like, "What is the talent?" And she said, "Singing." And they're like, "Oh." So I immediately started taking voice lessons. And I remember the first time I performed was singing Castle on a Cloud from Les Mis at a school event. And I was a shy kid growing up. And I remember performing for the first time and having the sense of just peace and a sense of home and like belonging. And I remember standing on stage and being like, this is where I want to be. Like, this is who I am. And from that day forward, it was like a whole new, a different person. So I started taking voice lessons and gradually started. My voice teacher had an agent in New York City, and she was like, I've got to introduce you to my agent. And as a 12-year-old, I'm like, absolutely, absolutely. So we started going to New York. I auditioned for her. I got signed when I was 11, almost 12. Started auditioning, ended up being cast in How the Grinch Stole Christmas at Madison
O-
Square Garden.
Okay, and I heard that you were the main character, right?
So I was Cindy Lou Who's understudy because Cindy Lou Who at the time
Oh,
was like 6 or 7, and I was also her sister Annie Who. But it was an amazing experience. That at 12 years old, at Madison Square Garden, the Wayne Theater in Boston. So my whole family moved to New York City for 4 months, and it was such a surreal experience. I'm forever grateful for that.
oh, definitely. I mean, just I can only imagine that how that would be at such a young age, and then such a big venue as Madison Square Garden. So continue about that. So, did you continue to work on the stage, or did you eventually get into the actual music part of it? I mean, what was the thought process at 12 years old, or were you just going, "Hey, wherever I can go"?
Yeah, a little bit of everything, to be honest. I knew I loved theater. I grew up doing musical theater. As soon as I found out I had the talent of singing, I started doing community theater and regional theater. I was a part of North Carolina Theater Conservatory and just did like plays growing up. But when I got cast in that role in that production. I loved it and I love the people. I loved working on Broadway, but I felt like something was missing. And I'm like, I truly want to be an artist. I want to write my own stuff. I want people to feel what I'm feeling when I'm writing it. So I feel like there was a void. So I immediately thought, I love Nashville. I love country music. I grew up listening to country music. My parents listened to it all the time in the car, so we would travel listening to it, and always had a great time. And I knew I wanted to pursue country music, so we went to Nashville. I started writing with songwriters and immediately making my way and meeting amazing people and amazing successful songwriters and collaborating with them, and eventually wanted to create an EP. And I knew it wanted to be a little bit of everything, like my life experiences and, up tempos and ballads and mid tempos that reflected that. But my whole life, since I was 8, I knew I wanted to be an artist. So the Broadway experience it happened so organically that I didn't it was just it just happened. It wasn't like I planned it. So I'm very, very forever grateful to them. And who knows, if something happens in the future with Broadway or another play, I would absolutely do it in a heartbeat. But country music is where my heart is for sure.
And let's just say you did have the opportunity to go back on Broadway. Is there a particular musical that you would just love to be a part of?
Oh my gosh. So I love Wicked. When I was a kid, I saw Wicked. My whole family did probably 5 times in a very short amount of time, and I was just so enamored with literally everyone on stage. So I love Wicked. I love Elphaba. I'm trying to think of another one. Waitress is really, really good. I love that play. But those two are probably my top two. But Wicked definitely like my dream role, or maybe Phantom of the Opera. So
Okay.
they're all up
Well,
there.
I definitely like Phantom of the Opera, so does my wife, but she's a big Wicked fan as well. So
Oh,
those would be great ones that if you did get in, we definitely come see you.
oh, thank
So
you.
you mentioned that you started at that time, around 14, started getting into the songwriting because you wanted to kind of express yourself. How do you do that? Is that something that you just take the time and write first? Is it a melody that comes in your head, or is it a combination of both?
It's a combination of both, and I say this because it all happens very raw and organically as before. At at nighttime, it happens a lot at nighttime. I start out with a melody or even lyrics. Like it could be 2 o'clock in the morning, and I wake up, and I'm not kidding. A melody will pop in my head, or I always keep my phone beside my bed to record it because I've done that too many times. Where I'm like, I'll remember that in the morning. Like, there's no way I'll forget that, and then you forget it. But I like to keep a notebook or just my notes on my phone and write it down. But it all happens very differently, which I think is really cool because there's not a form to it. And I think that's what I love so much about songwriting is there's no particular way and it's different for every person. But I think the art of songwriting in itself is so, so powerful and transformative that it's like therapy for anyone and everyone who listens to it and writes it. But I love it. I love the craft.
And so one of your earliest songs that you had out was Let It Be You. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I was in the writing room with Brianna Tyson and Jennifer Denmark, and I literally just came in and I was telling them about my experiences, and whether that be guys or whatever. It was just a full like, here's my life, and we were talking about the other songwriters' experiences in love life, and one songwriter was talking about how her relationship was when she was my age at the time. And we were talking how friends sometimes turn to something more, and often that's how they do. And most importantly, the friendship that you build is the core of that relationship in the end. And so we were just talking about that and how scary that is, and the line and the boundary between how is this going to work if something wrong happens or if we don't work out, but still wanting to keep the friendship. But I knew I wanted the song to be an up tempo, to be like powerful, but also be fun and something you could really just mess around with and sing in your bedroom or your car. But I really am so excited with how it turned out. The instrumentation is great. I recorded that so many years ago, which is so crazy how your voice can change so much. So when I hear it now, I'm like, I got to record that again because I love the song and I love the meaning and the words behind it.
So you think that you possibly might record it again?
I would love to in the future for sure. I'm working on new music right now, but who knows? I feel like that song is so fun and so relatable to so many people that I feel like it definitely be worth it.
All right, well, let's go ahead and play it here on Hank's Corner.
Hey boy, you look so fine. I've looked in your eyes a million times, but not like this. So I guess don't even know what changed, but didn't mean to start feeling things. But if I have to, let it be you. Gets my head on crazy, stealing every breath before I take it, wrecking every plan that I've been making. I'm just saying, oh, somebody's gonna have to do it. Open my heart and show me how to use it. If anybody's ever gonna be the one to give it to, let it be you. Yeah, boy, it's quite the stretch to think out of all the boys I've met that you and me are meant to be. They say you know when you know, but I wouldn't know, 'cause I've never known what love feels like. But this feels right. Oh, let it be you. Gets my head all crazy, stealing every breath before I take it, taking every plan that I've been making. I'm just saying, oh, somebody's gonna have to do it. Open my heart and show me how to use it. If anybody's ever gonna be the one to give it to, let it be you. So let it be you. Gets my head all crazy, stealing every breath before I take it, wrecking every plan that I've been making. I'm just saying, oh, somebody's gonna have to do it. Open my heart and show me how to use it. If anybody's ever gonna be the one to give it to, oh, if anybody's ever gonna be the one to give it to, let it be you. 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 Let it be you.
So that was Danielle Johnson singing Let It Be You here on Hank's Corner. I'm Hank Jr. So, Danielle, tell me a little bit about some of the places that you got to perform over the years, because I know you've been on such big stages as NASCAR races, correct?
Mhm. I have. I am very thankful for my Charlotte Motor Speedway family. I have been singing the national anthem in God Bless America over there since I was 12 years old.
Here to sing our national anthem is 13-year-old Danielle Johnson from Warsaw, North Carolina.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming? The rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
Wow.
Maybe a little older starting off, but they have been so amazing. I started off with the dirt track and then eventually like made my way up and sang the national anthem for the Coca-Cola 600, the Bank of America 500, the drag strip, all of that stuff. But they are so amazing and treat us so kind over there. But I love going over there and singing that national anthem. It's truly, and the fans are a whole new level. They're so fun. They're so fun.
Yeah, no one can say that they're not fun, that's for sure. Maybe a little bit rowdy too, but,
A little
so
rowdy.
Tell me a little bit about, singing the national anthem because that in itself is kind of like its own special thing. And how was it for you to do that? Were you nervous about that? And
So my family, when I was younger, sat me down and literally word for word explained the national anthem to me. Because when I initially started, getting offers to sing it, I really wanted to understand it and make sure I wasn't changing it or making it my own too much. So I initially started off with just like reading the lyrics and truly understanding it and getting it down. And it was always the mentality of Danielle, it's not your song to change. So I don't do a lot of riffs. I keep it as standard as I can, but I love it so much and I love performing it. And I don't get nervous. I'm very, very blessed in the fact that I never get nervous, but I get in my zone. I get in my zone. Like my family knows, don't really talk to Danielle. I mean, people can, but I'm just very like in my corner, warming up, going over everything. I say my prayer every time before I sing. I just have my thing that I do since I've been 8 years old singing. So I love the national anthem, and I really am so honored that I've gotten to perform it so many times at NASCAR races and Charlotte Motor Speedway.
you do a great job doing that. And you mentioned that you don't get nervous, you're in the zone. But usually that means somewhere else you get nervous doing something else. Would you share with us, what things kind of, make you a little bit nervous if it's not being out there on stage?
I'm trying to think. I have been so fortunate that I don't get nervous. Well, okay, so in the music business, there's nowhere that I really get nervous. I mean, I think it's a blessing. It's also I'm very, very fortunate and lucky. But I don't get nervous in the music part of it. I'm trying to think if there's any other place in my life where I really get nervous. I think just normal, like normal life. I'm not a bit. I used to be a fan of heights. Like, I mean, I would ride roller coasters. I'd do anything. But now, as the older I get and skiing, I get a little nervous about skiing. I'm not a fan of skiing as I used to be. I used to love it, and when you're a kid, you're fearless and ruthless and just like whatever. If I fall, I fall. But now I'm a little more hesitant for sure.
Oh, it just means you have a little bit more sense and have a lot of other stuff that you have to worry about. But that's awesome. And do you attribute that to your faith? I know you mentioned something about you have a prayer beforehand. Is faith a big deal in your music career and life as in general?
Absolutely. My family is, I mean, I grew up a Christian, and my faith is super, super important to me. I will always, always owe everything to God and everything He has done for me and my family. My brother is a miracle. He was born with hypoplastic left heart syndrome. So, my twin brother. So, I'm very, very just so thankful for everything he's done for my family. But the talent of singing is a gift that's truly God given. My family doesn't sing, so when everyone asks, "Where did Danielle get her gift from? Who in the family?" It's like God, for sure, God.
Okay.
But I'm a Christian, and I really my faith is super super important to me and vital in my life.
Well, I appreciate you professing that here on Hank's Corner. I think that's awesome when my guests do that. So, another one of your songs is You're the One That Got Away. Tell me a little bit about that one.
So I wrote this one when I was, I think 17, and at the time I was going through it at the time a breakup, and I really want to just talk about it and express it, and I did, and I remember that was the first time that I've truly felt that songwriting was therapy for me, because immediately when I was writing it, I felt like a whole new person. It was like everything was released and out in the world, because when I think about songwriting, if my feelings can resonate to you and help you, then I'm doing something right. And just I remember thinking that I'm like, wow, this is truly amazing and transformative and truly like therapy. I remember hearing people say that, and I'm like, I really wonder if that's true. But that day I was like, wow, this is crazy. But that's what it was about. And I remember just thinking, okay, so let's write a new one. Let's write another song. And it gradually became more and more. So even over the past 2 years, I've written so many songs over Zoom, probably over 100. So I think this is also a great way to communicate, and you can do so much stuff with Zoom. It's crazy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm so thankful that these platforms have come out, and you know, COVID did have its lot of negative stuff that's associated, but having the Zoom and the Zoom writings, artists are telling me they got to work on their craft a little bit, so it was kind of a blessing in disguise. But so we're gonna go ahead and play "You're the One That Got Away" here on Hank's Corner.
It was graduation summer when I met you. I wasn't looking for love, I didn't want to. I never had it on my mind. Working late nights at the grill, you sat down at table 10. Looking back, that's where our love began. I never thought that I would be the girl who falls so fast. My heart stopped when you looked at me. Suddenly I couldn't breathe. You were the someone that I thought I didn't need. Those summer months are now memories. At the time we both believed. Now looking back, we both can say you're the one that got away. You're the one that got away. But that was then and this is now. We moved on, boy, somehow. Ain't it funny how time can go so fast? I saw you at the football game. You looked good, you hadn't changed. I wonder why we let us slip away. Back in the day, I replay all those days and summer nights. My heart stopped when you looked at me. Suddenly I couldn't breathe. You were the someone that I thought I didn't need. Those summer months are now memories. At the time we both believed. Now looking back, we both can say you're the one that got away. You're the one that got away. I'm not over you still, probably I never will. Oh, my heart stopped when you looked at me. Suddenly I couldn't breathe. You were the someone that I thought I didn't need. Those summer months are now memories. At the time we both believed. Looking back, we both can say you're the one that got away. You're the one that got away. Wish I didn't have to say you're the one that got away. You're the one, you're the one. You're the one, you're the one. You're the one that got away.
Welcome back to Hank's Corner. That was Danielle Johnson with "You're the One That Got Away." So you mentioned a little bit about your twin brother, and did I see correctly that you may have posted a picture that you guys were out watching the Nashville Predators play?
Absolutely. We've gone to a few games this year, which has been so fun. I've been going to Nashville for a long time, and we've never really made it to a Predators game. So my family loves the Predators games, and literally it'll be 6:30. We'll be like, "Oh, let's go to one." So we'll get our tickets right then. But it's so fun. It's such a cool atmosphere.
And I asked because I'm a big hockey fan. I actually am a Philadelphia sports team fan, so the Philadelphia Flyers are, my team, and I might actually, make the trip up there in March when the Flyers are playing Nashville. I haven't quite decided yet, but that may be something that I do. So, do you have a close relationship then with your family?
Absolutely. I owe everything to them. Everything in my music career is because of them. They are so supportive, so immensely supportive. And my brother has been so great. He travels all the time with us. But yeah, we're very close, and my twin brother is like my best friend. So I'm very thankful for them.
Okay, and do you have any of those, twin powers that, you could read each other's mind?
Twin telepathy. It's true. It's so crazy. A lot of people ask me that, and we'll be thinking the same thing. And there's only been a few occasions that we'll actually have said the same thing at the same time. But I do believe in it, and I do believe it's like a bond like no other. But it is true.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I always wondered that. So, 2021 is coming to an end. Was looking back, was 2021 a good year for you, a productive year? Was there something that you wish you could have changed to make it better?
That's a great question. I think it was a year full of gratitude for my music talent, my ability to connect with others, the art of songwriting. I'm so thankful that we're doing this right now, and also just our health in general. I feel like this year has been such a whirlwind of a year, but most of all, it just made me super grateful and very humbling. But I would not say it was a bad year. I've written an amazing amount of songs. I have feel I've been more in touch, I feel like, with the present. I feel like that's truly something that this year has really made me think about is living more in the present, and you never know when your last day will be. And I've had so many friends' families who have lost loved ones, and it just makes you really grateful for the life you have and for the people you surround it with. So definitely grateful.
And did you get to perform a lot during this past year, or was, school one of those things that just ties up a lot of your time?
It does, but I haven't been able to perform a lot this year, of course, because under the circumstances. But that is going to change in January. I'm ready. Performing is such an immense part of who I am, and I love it so much. But school, of course, is busy. I take 10 classes a semester with my
Wow.
major, so it's a lot. It's a lot to handle. But I definitely want to do more performances with my band. Definitely do more writers rounds. Get more connected. And I feel like now since this was the first semester, this last fall semester was my first semester on campus. So the first whole year was fully virtual. But now I've got to grasp at like how to balance and how to do everything. So I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, so you mentioned, performing a little bit more in 2022. Do you have any other goals or resolutions that you're going to be planning for next year?
I think just to be performing a lot more shows, to release a new EP, some more music videos. Have written so much music, like I said earlier, this year, and I'm looking forward to getting in the studio in January and February and knocking them out and recording some. In the studio is such a fun and such a wonderful experience. And I feel like everything it's just like magic, truly. So I can't wait for that. But just honestly, to just connect with people more through my music and to perform more.
Oh, that's awesome. So I definitely wish you the best in 2022. I hope you're able to, achieve your goals that you set forward and as well as, have that EP come out. We'll definitely be on the edge of our seats waiting to see if that does turn out. And of course, getting out there to perform. And if I ever get a chance to do that, I'll definitely come see you. So, Danielle Johnson, I appreciate you coming on my show. Do you want to give us your website? It's down here below, but if you want to go ahead and say it.
Absolutely. My website is daniellejohnsonsinger.com, and there are music videos. Let It Be You, premiered on CMT. You're the One That Got Away. There's an EP. There's performance videos as well. And please stay tuned for show updates and a new EP in 2022.
All right. Well, thank you for being a guest here on Hank's Corner, and you're welcome anytime to come back.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been so fun.